My ex crashed my open house with his mistress, mocking my success. I made them regret it. He left me broken, but I built an empire. Will their arrogance cost them everything? Hi, I'm Isabella Monroe. The June afternoons in Raleigh, North Carolina, shimmer with a deceptive warmth, where the sweet scent of blooming gardenias and the gentle hum of affluent neighborhoods cloak the storm brewing within the polished interiors of a high-end property I'm showcasing for an open house. I stood in the airy living room of a meticulously staged mansion, my fingers lingering on the edge of a velvet throw pillow, adjusting it to perfection, while the aroma of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies wafted from a nearby tray, a deliberate touch to make the space feel like a home. The air was fragrant with vanilla and the subtle tension of anticipation, the kind that hums before a major sale, a far cry from the sterile, fluorescent-lit courtroom where my marriage to Nathan had unraveled years ago in a haze of betrayal and legal maneuvering. The mansion's gleaming hardwood floors, expansive floor-to-ceiling windows, and curated elegance were a testament to the empire I'd built as a real estate mogul, each detail a brick in the fortress of my resilience. It was here, amidst this carefully crafted scene of success, that my past crashed into my present Nathan, my ex-husband, and Lauren, his new wife, the woman he left me for, strutting through the front door with smirks that sliced through the armor I'd spent years forging. Their unexpected arrival was a spark that reignited a firestorm of pain, betrayal, and defiance, propelling me onto a path to expose the cracks in their carefully constructed facade, a journey that would weave together strategic maneuvering, an unlikely alliance with Lauren, and a triumphant reckoning that would force them to face the consequences of underestimating the woman they'd discarded. I'm a 34-year-old real estate titan, my days a whirlwind of orchestrating high-stakes property deals, mentoring clients through life's transitions, and steering Monroe Realty, the agency I founded from the ashes of my divorce. To Raleigh's elite, I'm a beacon of success, my name synonymous with trust and tenacity in a competitive market. But to Nathan and Lauren, I'm the ex-wife they expected to fade into obscurity, a relic of a marriage they tossed aside without a backward glance. Growing up in Raleigh's historic Oakwood district, where Victorian homes with wraparound porches lined streets buzzing with community festivals, I was the dreamer with a practical streak, juggling part-time jobs at local cafes to put myself through college while volunteering at women's shelters to give back. I met Nathan in my early 20s, a charismatic law student with big dreams and a disarming smile. Our early years were a tapestry of shared ambition. I supported him through the grueling nights of law school, typing his notes, brewing endless pots of coffee, and celebrating each milestone as he built his firm from a one-room office to a powerhouse in Raleigh's legal scene. Family dinners, with their comforting spreads of fried chicken, collard greens, and cornbread drizzled with honey, were filled with our plans his rise as a corporate lawyer, my quiet hope to carve out a meaningful role beside him. My diary from those days is filled with pride. Closed his first big case, we're unstoppable. But as his firm grew, so did his distance. My efforts managing his firm's accounts, hosting client dinners, keeping our home a haven met with curt nods or outright criticism, my diary noting, planned his gala, got a shrug. I'd clung to the belief that my devotion would anchor us, a hope that persisted despite Nathan's growing coldness. At 25, I organized a charity auction for his firm, raising $50,000 only to hear him credit Lauren, his new secretary, for its sparkle at a partners' meeting, my diary lamenting my work, her spotlight. I'm invisible. His 30th birthday was a $10,000 extravaganza on a chartered yacht, complete with live music and caviar, while my own was marked by a $50 gift card slipped under our bedroom door with a distracted happy birthday, my diary noting $50 for me, $10,000 for him. I'm nothing. By 27, I'd internalized my role as the supportive wife, always in the background, never the star, my diary confessing I'm his shadow, not his partner. The truth crashed into me one evening when I found flirty text messages on his phone heart emojis and suggestive promises from Lauren. My diary scrawling in hurried, anguished ink, his affair. My heart shattered. His gaslighting was immediate, his voice calm but cutting. "You're paranoid, Isabella." "You're imagining things," my diary noting his lies, my doubt. I wanted to believe him, clung to the hope that love could override evidence, but a private investigator's photos Nathan and Lauren in a hotel lobby, his hand on her waist, confirmed the betrayal. My diary noting his deceit, my truth. The divorce was a brutal gauntlet. Nathan's high-powered lawyers painting me as unstable, even unfaithful, in a vicious bid to leave me with nothing. My diary noting his tactics, my despair. I fought back, hiring a scrappy attorney who secured a fair settlement, but the victory felt hollow, my diary confessing his freedom, my ruin. I spiraled into darkness, moving into a cramped studio apartment, the walls closing in as I drowned my pain in cheap Merlot, my diary noting my nights, his victory. Friends tried to reach me, their calls unanswered, my diary noting their pity, my isolation. But one morning, staring at a stack of unpaid bills, I made a choice I wouldn't let Nathan win. I enrolled in real estate courses, studied relentlessly, and earned my license, my diary noting his scorn, my spark. My first sale, a modest ranch that sold above asking, was a lifeline, my diary noting, my deal, my rebirth. I threw myself into the market, networking with developers, charming clients, and building Monroe Realty into a powerhouse, my diary noting my hustle, their blindness. I specialized in helping women like me, divorces, single mothers, those starting over find homes that symbolized new beginnings, my diary noting their dreams, my purpose. That June day, the open house was a pinnacle, the $5 million mansion a trophy of my success. I'd spent hours perfecting every detail, the cookie's warm aroma, soft jazz drifting from hidden speakers, brochures fanned with precision on a marble console. My team, 5 women I'd mentored, buzzed around me, adjusting vases and greeting early arrivals, their efficiency a reflection of the culture I'd built, my diary noting my crew, their trust. Clients, a mix of tech entrepreneurs and old money families, murmured approval stunning, exquisite their praise fueling my pride, my diary noting my work, their awe. Then the front door swung open, and Nathan's voice, smooth and mocking, cut through the hum like a blade. "Well, Isabella," still playing House My Diary, noting his tone, my past. Lauren's laugh followed, sharp and condescending. Nathan said, "You'd never make it in this game." My diary noting her jab, my wound. My heart pounded, a visceral reminder of the divorce's brutality, but years of practice steadied me. I turned, my navy blazer crisp, my smile professional. "Nathan, Lauren, welcome." "I didn't expect you here," my diary noting my mask, their bait. Their presence was an invasion, their casual cruelty a mirror of Nathan's old dismissals. "You don't have what it takes." Nathan's tailored suit, now slightly ill-fitting, and Lauren's designer dress, clinging too tightly, couldn't hide their strain, his graying temples, her forced smile, my diary noting their cracks, my chance. I guided them through the house, my voice steady as I highlighted the gourmet kitchen's quartz island, the master bath's spa-like serenity, each feature a testament to my expertise, my diary noting my skill, their ignorance. Nathan's snide comments, "Overpriced, isn't it?" and Lauren's distracted glances betrayed their unease, my diary noting his barbs, her doubt. I couldn't resist a subtle jab. "I'm sure we can find something in your budget." My agency's thriving with high-profile clients, my diary noting my dig, their flush. Nathan's face reddened, his voice sharp. "You got lucky, Isabella." "You're riding my coattails," my diary noting his lie, my truth. I smiled, my tone icy. Luck had nothing to do with it. "I built this without you. My diary noting my stand, their shock. Lauren shifted, her eyes darting. The first sign of discord, my diary noting her unease, my leverage. As they left, Nathan's parting glare and Lauren's nervous glance lingered, my diary noting their exit, my spark. The open house ended with 3 offers, a triumph, but their visit was a catalyst, my diary noting their arrogance, my plan. Driving home. The memories flooded back Nathan's late nights, his shirts reeking of Lauren's perfume, his cold, "You weren't enough." My diary from those days is a litany of pain, his affair, my ruin. But it also holds my rebirth, my first sale, my power. My apartment, a cozy haven of soft linens, framed client thank yous, and a view of Raleigh's twinkling skyline, was my refuge, my diary noting my home, their loss. I poured a glass of Pinot Noir, its tartness grounding me, and flipped through my diary, its pages a map of my journey divorce, despair, defiance, dominance. Nathan's taunt, Lauren's sneer, were sparks in a powder keg, my diary noting their hubris, my resolve. I vowed to turn their visit into their reckoning, to expose the cracks in their world while cementing my own, my diary confessing their mistake, my revenge. The mansion sale, finalized at $2.6 million, was a milestone, but Nathan's presence was a challenge I couldn't ignore, my diary noting my victory, their folly. I began researching his firm, whispering rumors of unethical dealings, my diary noting his secrets, my weapon. Raleigh's June night was alive with the city's vibrant pulse, its historic charm a backdrop to my quiet rebellion, my resolve a steady flame, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to make them face the consequences of underestimating the woman they'd tried to break, setting the stage for a journey that would redefine my triumph. The open house had been a masterclass in resilience, each client's nod a validation of the empire I'd built from nothing. My team, women I'd trained to be fierce and compassionate, celebrated the offers over takeout in the office, their laughter a reminder of the family I'd found, my diary noting my tribe, their trust. But Nathan and Lauren's intrusion lingered, a dark cloud over the day's success. The memory of Nathan's laughter at my real estate dreams, ridiculous. Isabella was a lash that still stung, my diary noting his scorn, my fuel. The divorce, with its vicious courtroom battles, had been a crucible, Nathan's lawyers accusing me of infidelity to justify his abandonment, my diary noting his slander, my fight. My attorney, a tenacious woman named Carla, had fought for a fair settlement, but the emotional toll was immense, my diary confessing his freedom, my chains. The studio apartment, with its peeling wallpaper and flickering lights, had been a prison, my diary noting my despair, his victory. But a single listing of fixer-upper that sold for a profit had been my lifeline, my diary noting my spark, my future. Raleigh's real estate market, with its blend of historic homes and modern condos, had been my canvas, my diary noting my deals, their blindness. Each sale, each client's smile rebuilt me, my diary noting their homes, my healing. Nathan's visit, with its hint of financial strain, was a crack in his armor, my diary noting his fall, my rise. I vowed to turn their arrogance into their undoing, to show them the woman I'd become, my diary noting their mistake, my power. Raleigh's June dawn was radiant, my resolve a quiet fire, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to orchestrate a reckoning that would leave them humbled, setting the stage for a triumph that would echo beyond the open house and into the heart of my legacy. In the quiet corner of a Raleigh coffee shop, a cozy nook tucked away from the city's bustling downtown, the June evening was charged with an undercurrent of secrecy. The rich aroma of roasted espresso beans and the soft clatter of ceramic cups creating a discreet haven for a conversation that would shift the trajectory of my revenge. The air was thick with the weight of Lauren's trembling confession, the faint hum of indie music, and the electric anticipation of the evidence I'd begun to amass against Nathan, a stark contrast to the gleaming mansion of the open house where their mocking presence had reignited my resolve. My diary rested in my leather satchel, its pages a raw, almost chaotic chronicle of this unexpected turning point, their financial strain. Lauren's fear, my covert investigation into Nathan's firm, a testament to my journey to dismantle his empire while navigating the complexities of an alliance with the woman who'd once been my rival. The memory of Nathan's smug riding my coattails and Lauren's condescending sneer lingered like a festering wound, a pain that fueled my determination to turn their vulnerabilities into my strength, setting the stage for a confrontation that would unravel their carefully curated facade and affirm my unyielding power as a woman who'd risen from the ashes of betrayal. The open house had been a seismic event, Nathan and Lauren's intrusion a violation that tore open scars I'd thought long healed. Their taunts, Nathan's claim that my success was mere luck, Lauren's insinuation that I was unfit for real estate were echoes of the divorce, where Nathan's ruthless lawyers had painted me as a failure to justify his abandonment, my diary noting their lies, my truth. The mansion's sale, finalized at $6 million with 3 competing offers, was a triumph that underscored my dominance in Raleigh's real estate market. But their presence cast a shadow over the victory, my diary noting my empire, their venom. I threw myself into work with renewed vigor, meeting clients, securing high-value listings, and mentoring my team of 5 women, each a reflection of the resilience I'd cultivated, my diary noting my hustle, their ignorance. Monroe Realty, with its reputation for empowering women and transition divorcees, single mothers, those rebuilding after loss, was my fortress. Each closed deal a brick in the wall of my legacy, my diary noting my agency, their folly. My clients became my purpose, their stories of starting over mirroring my own, their gratitude a balm for wounds Nathan had left, my diary noting their hope, my strength. One client, Maria, a single mother escaping an abusive marriage, hugged me tightly at her closing, her voice thick with emotion. "You gave me a home, Isabella. You gave me a future," my diary noting her tears, my mission. Her words were a mirror to my own journey hitting rock bottom after Nathan's affair with Lauren. His secretary had shattered my world, my diary confessing his betrayal, my ruin. The divorce had been a brutal crucible. Nathan's gaslighting, "You're paranoid," Isabella followed by his legal onslaught, accusing me of infidelity to leave me with nothing, my diary noting his slander, my despair. I'd retreated to a cramped studio apartment, the walls closing in as I drowned my pain in cheap Merlot, my diary noting my darkness, his victory. Friends' calls went unanswered, their pity unbearable, my diary noting their concern, my isolation. But a single listing, a modest ranch that sold above asking, had been my spark, my diary noting my sale, my rebirth. I'd studied relentlessly, earned my real estate license, and built Monroe Realty into a powerhouse, my diary noting my grind, their blindness. Speaking at a women's empowerment conference, I'd shared my story, inspiring others to rise, my diary noting my voice, their courage. Nathan's visit, with its hint of financial distress, was a crack in his once impregnable armor, my diary noting his fall, my chance. Their request for a budget home suggested a reversal of fortune, a stark contrast to the ostentatious lifestyle they'd flaunted during the divorce, my diary noting their pride, my leverage. I began discreetly researching Nathan's law firm, tapping into Raleigh's tight-knit legal community, where whispers of unethical practices overbilling clients, questionable settlements had begun to surface, my diary noting his greed, my opportunity. A former client, disillusioned by Nathan's tactics, emailed me redacted invoices showing inflated fees, my diary noting his mistakes, my proof. Another contact, a paralegal who'd left his firm, hinted at forged documents, my diary noting his fraud, my weapon. Lauren's nervous glances during the open house, her distracted demeanor, suggested discord, my diary noting her unease, my spark. I kept my routine open houses, client consultations, team briefings, but my mind churned with possibilities, my diary noting my work, their reckoning. The call from Lauren came unexpectedly, a few days after the open house, her voice trembling through the phone. "Isabella, I need your help," my diary noting her plea, my shock. I agreed to meet her at my office, a calculated move to keep the upper hand, my diary noting her desperation, my stage. She arrived looking frayed, her designer purse clutched tightly, her eyes red and puffy, a far cry from the smug woman who'd mocked me, my diary noting her mask. Slipping now. She sat across from my desk, her hands fidgeting. "Nathan's firm is failing. We're drowning in debt. We need to sell our house," my diary noting her confession, my edge. The McMansion they'd bought at the height of his success, a sprawling monument to their hubris, was now a financial albatross, unsellable in their price range due to market shifts and their depleted resources, my diary noting their folly, my leverage. I leaned back, my voice cool and professional. "I'll assess the property, but I make no promises," my diary noting her need, my control. The visit to their house was a revelation, the once pristine estate now marred by neglect, peeling exterior paint, cracked driveway pavers, an overgrown lawn that spoke of financial strain, my diary noting their decline, my insight. Inside, the tension was palpable. Nathan's curt, "This better work," clashing with Lauren's silence, her eyes avoiding his, my diary noting his temper, her fear. I brought my team stagers, photographers, a landscaping crew transforming the property into a sleek, modern showpiece, my diary noting my expertise, their desperation. The staging process was meticulous, replacing dated chandeliers with minimalist fixtures, repainting walls in neutral tones, and curating furniture to evoke aspirational elegance, my diary noting my craft, their need. Each improvement was a silent rebuke to Nathan's taunts, a reminder of the empire I'd built without him, my diary noting my success, his failure. During a break, Lauren pulled me aside in the kitchen, her voice low, "Isabella, he's not who I thought," my diary noting her crack, my opening. Her eyes, rimmed with unshed tears, betrayed a deeper truth. He's controlling, manipulative. "I'm scared," my diary noting her fear, my mirror. The words echoed my own past, Nathan's cold dismissals, his ability to make me doubt my worth, my diary noting her pain, my scars. I saw an opportunity, not just for revenge, but to help her break free, my diary noting her chains, my chance. I placed a hand on her shoulder, my voice firm. "Document everything, his words, his actions." "You're not alone," my diary noting her trust, my strategy. She nodded, her expression a mix of fear and resolve, my diary noting her spark, our bond. Back at the office, I met with Rachel, a lawyer friend who specialized in domestic abuse cases, her sharp mind a perfect ally. She reviewed my dossier on Nathan's firm client complaints, questionable invoices, hints of embezzlement, and advised build a paper trail. "If Lauren's serious, her evidence will be key," my diary noting her counsel, our weapon. I contacted more of Nathan's former clients, their stories of overbilling and coercion adding weight to my case, my diary noting his sins, my proof. A developer, burned by Nathan's shady settlement, shared a forged contract, my diary noting his fraud, my arsenal. Meanwhile, Lauren began sending me photos bruises on her wrist, a hole punched in their bedroom wall along with journal entries detailing Nathan's rages, my diary noting her courage, our case. Showings with Nathan and Lauren were fraught, his impatience palpable as he dismissed every property. "This is garbage, Isabella," my diary noting his scorn, her silence. The home's modest bungalows and condos were a far cry from their McMansion, their budget a stark reminder of their fall, my diary noting their pride, my leverage. Lauren's withdrawal, her eyes fixed on the floor, spoke of fear, my diary noting her dread, my resolve. I remained professional, my voice calm. "These are the best in your range." Nathan, my diary noting my poise, his rage. Off-site, I met Lauren at the coffee shop, its warm lighting a contrast to her haunted expression. She clutched a latte, her voice barely audible. "I'm scared to leave." "He's all I know," my diary noting her terror, my vow. I squeezed her hand. "You deserve better. Start with a lawyer." "I'll help you," my diary noting her hope, my support. I connected her with Rachel, who outlined her options, my diary noting her path, our plan. Nathan's growing suspicion was a looming threat, his curt, "Where were you to Lauren during a showing chilling?" my diary noting his control, our risk. I doubled my efforts, meeting a whistleblower from his firm who provided bank records showing diverted client funds, my diary noting his greed, my proof. The dossier grew testimonies, financials, Lauren's journal a ticking bomb, my diary noting his crimes, our justice. I prepared for a confrontation, knowing the risks but driven by a fire that wouldn't be quenched, my diary noting his empire, my target. Raleigh's June dusk was vibrant, the city's historic charm a backdrop to my quiet rebellion, my resolve a steady flame, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to turn Lauren's desperation into our shared triumph, setting the stage for a reckoning that would expose his true nature and cement my legacy as a woman who'd risen above his scorn. The coffee shop, with its exposed brick walls and eclectic patrons, was a sanctuary where Lauren's vulnerability unfolded. Her stories of Nathan's control locking her phone, dictating her outfits mirrored my own past, my diary noting her chains, my memories. I saw the woman I'd been doubting, diminished and vowed to be her lifeline, my diary noting her struggle, my purpose. Rachel's guidance, sharp and pragmatic, gave structure to our plan, her diary noting her mind, our strategy. The whistleblower, a nervous paralegal named Tim, met me in a park, his documents a goldmine, my diary noting his secrets, our power. My team at Monroe Realty, unaware of my personal battle, kept the agency humming, closing deals and earning rave reviews, my diary noting their work, my shield. Maria's closing, with her tearful gratitude, was a reminder of why I fought, my diary noting her future, my fire. The showings, with Nathan's escalating temper, were a tightrope, my diary noting his rage, our caution. Lauren's growing resolve, her quiet, "I can do this," was a spark, my diary noting her strength, our bond. Raleigh's June night was alive with possibility, my resolve a quiet fire, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to orchestrate a confrontation that would leave him humbled, setting the stage for a triumph that would echo beyond the coffee shop and into the heart of my legacy. In the fading grandeur of Nathan's Raleigh law firm, a once imposing office now marred by cluttered desks, stacks of unpaid bills, and the faint hum of a failing air conditioner, the July morning was thick with tension, the stale scent of old coffee and the sharp tang of desperation creating a grim backdrop to a showdown that had been years in the making. The air was heavy with the weight of my meticulously compiled dossier client testimonies, financial records, Lauren's harrowing journal entries, and the electric anticipation of justice. A universe apart from the vibrant open house where Nathan's mocking presence had reignited my resolve, or the quiet coffee shop where Lauren's confession had forged our unlikely alliance. My diary rested in my briefcase, its pages a raw, almost feverish chronicle of this pivotal moment the whistleblower's documents, Lauren's bravery, my escalating plan to expose Nathan's crimes, a testament to my relentless pursuit to bring him to account, urging me to reflect on the moment I transformed his betrayal into his undoing. The memory of Nathan's gaslighting, your paranoid, and the bruises on Lauren's wrist burned like a live ember, wounds that fueled my determination to face him head-on, setting the stage for a new chapter where Lauren and I would rise above his shadow, leaving him to confront the wreckage of his own making. The confrontation was precipitated by a frantic call from Lauren, her voice hysterical through the phone. "Isabella." He found out about the lawyer. "He's furious, threatening to ruin me my diary, noting her panic, my alarm." I'd raced to her sister's house, a modest bungalow in a quiet Raleigh suburb, finding her shaken but safe, her eyes red with tears as she clutched a duffel bag, my diary noting her refuge, my resolve. She recounted Nathan's rage, screaming, smashing a lamp, accusing her of betrayal, my diary noting his wrath, her fear. I urged her to stay with her sister, promising I'll handle him, my diary noting her trust, my vow. Driving to Nathan's firm, my heart pounded, but years of rebuilding my strength steadied me, my diary noting his empire, my target. The office, once a symbol of his dominance, was a shell-empty cubicles, flickering fluorescent lights, a receptionist who barely looked up as I strode past, my diary noting his decline, my stage. I entered Nathan's corner office without knocking, my navy suit crisp, my posture unyielding, the dossier tucked under my arm like a weapon. He looked up from his desk, his face a mask of exhaustion and fury, his graying hair disheveled, his tie loosened, my diary noting his fall, my power. His voice was a snarl. "What the hell are you doing here? Isabella!" My diary, noting his rage, my calm. I smiled, cold and calculated. I know everything. Nathan, your abuse, your fraud, your crumbling firm. My diary noting my truth, his fear. His eyes narrowed, but the flicker of panic betrayed him. "You're bluffing." "You've got nothing." My diary noting his denial, my proof. I tossed the dossier onto his desk, papers spilling across its surface, client complaints, forged invoices, bank records showing embezzled funds, photos of Lauren's bruises, her journal entries detailing his rages, my diary noting his sins, my arsenal. He scrambled to grab the folder, his hands shaking as he flipped through the pages, his face paling with each damning piece of evidence, my diary noting his shock, my triumph. I stood tall, my voice steel. "The authorities have copies. Your former clients are talking. Lauren's evidence is with a lawyer." "It's over." My diary noting my stand, his ruin. His voice rose, desperate. "You can't do this. You're just a bitter ex-wife." My diary noting his lie, my strength. I leaned in, my tone icy. "I'm the woman you underestimated, Nathan. You broke me once, but I rebuilt stronger. You hurt Lauren, cheated your clients, and thought you'd get away with it. Not this time." My diary noting my fire, his defeat. He lunged across the desk, grabbing my arm, his fingers digging into my skin. "You'll pay for this." Isabella, my diary noting his threat, my defiance. I wrenched free, my eyes blazing. "You're the one paying for every lie, every bruise, every life you've ruined." My diary noting my resolve, his end. I turned to leave, my heart pounding but my steps steady, his shouts echoing behind me. "This isn't over." My diary noting his rage, my freedom. Outside, the Raleigh skyline sparkled, a testament to the city I'd conquered. My diary noting my city, his fall. The fallout was swift and merciless within days. Local news outlets ran exposés on Nathan's firm, detailing years of overbilling, forged settlements, and client fraud, my diary noting his crimes, public now. Clients fled, Partners distanced themselves, and the firm's stock plummeted. My diary noting his empire. Dust now. Lauren filed for divorce, her attorney leveraging her journal and photos to secure a protective order. My diary noting her courage, our justice. I helped her find a safe apartment, a cozy one-bedroom in a quiet Raleigh neighborhood. My diary noting her home, my support. The police opened an investigation, my dossier providing the backbone, my diary noting his fraud, my proof. I met with investigators, presenting client testimonies and financial records, my diary noting my evidence, their case. Nathan's arrest for embezzlement and fraud came a week later. His mugshot splashed across the Raleigh News and Observer, my diary noting his chains, our triumph. I testified at a preliminary hearing, my voice steady as I detailed his practices, my diary noting my voice, his end. Lauren, bolstered by therapy and Rachel's guidance, began rebuilding, her diary noting her strength, our bond. We spent evenings at her new apartment, sharing stories of survival, her pain mirroring my Nathan's manipulation, his ability to make us doubt ourselves, my diary noting her scars, my healing. Monroe Realty thrived, closing a $10 million estate and earning a feature in Southern Living for empowering women. My diary noting my success, their loss. My team celebrated with a rooftop party, their laughter a reminder of the family I'd built. My diary noting my tribe, their joy. Maria, my client, sent a thank you note. You're my hero. Isabella, my diary noting her gratitude, my purpose. The confrontation had been a crucible, each word a reclamation of the power Nathan had stolen, my diary noting his defeat, my victory. But I knew the journey wasn't over. Lauren's divorce, Nathan's trial, and my own healing lay ahead, my diary noting his fall, my path. I began mentoring more women, launching a scholarship for aspiring realtors, my diary noting their dreams, my legacy. Raleigh's July dawn was radiant, the city's historic charm a canvas for my triumph, my resolve a steady flame, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to turn Lauren's pain into our shared victory, setting the stage for a legacy that would outshine his disgrace and empower others to rise. The confrontation had been years in the making, each piece of evidence a step toward justice. Lauren's journal, with its detailed accounts of Nathan's abuse, was a turning point, my diary noting her truth, our weapon. The whistleblower's documents, exposing his fraud, were a goldmine, my diary noting his secrets, our power. Rachel's legal expertise, guiding us through the complexities, was our anchor, my diary noting her mind, our strategy. My team at Monroe Realty, unaware of my personal battle, kept the agency soaring, closing deals and earning accolades, my diary noting their work, my shield. The news coverage, with headlines like Raleigh lawyer faces fraud charges, was a public reckoning, my diary noting his shame, our justice. Lauren's apartment, with its bright curtains and budding plants, was a symbol of her rebirth, my diary noting her hope, our bond. The trial loomed, but I felt ready, my diary noting his fate, my resolve. Raleigh's July night was alive with possibility, my resolve a quiet fire. Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to lead Lauren and others toward healing, setting the stage for a triumph that would echo beyond the courtroom and into the heart of my legacy. In the newly opened community center of Monroe Realty, a vibrant Raleigh hub designed for women in transition, the August morning was luminous, sunlight flooding through wide windows to illuminate a bustling space filled with mentorship workshops, legal aid clinics, and walls adorned with success stories from clients who'd rebuilt their lives. The air was alive with the fresh scent of paint, the lively chatter of participants, and the electric hum of hope that had become the heartbeat of my mission, a universe apart from the dim, chaotic office where I'd confronted Nathan, or the sterile courtroom where his betrayal had nearly broken me years ago. My diary lay open on a minimalist desk in the center's office, its pages a powerful, almost poetic chronicle of this transformative chapter, the open house's bitter spark, Lauren's liberation, Nathan's downfall, and my unexpected choice to forgive, a testament to my journey to redefine my legacy through healing rather than hatred, urging me to reflect on the moment I chose to let go of the past to embrace a future of purpose. The memory of Nathan's manipulative lies, Lauren's bruises, and the pain of their open house mockery had faded, replaced by the strength of our alliance, the gratitude of my clients, and the unyielding resilience I'd forged. A triumph that required no vengeance, affirming my right to live as Isabella Monroe, a woman who transformed betrayal into a radiant beacon of empowerment, a guiding light for others to rise above their own shadows. The center's opening was a milestone, its ribbon-cutting ceremony attended by Raleigh's mayor, local business leaders, and dozens of women whose lives Monroe Realty had touched. Maria, my client, spoke at the event. Her voice steady, Isabella gave me a home and a future. My diary, noting her story. My purpose. The center offered free resources, financial planning, legal consultations, career coaching tailored to women starting over. My diary noting their dreams, my mission. My team, now 10 strong, ran workshops, their passion a reflection of the culture I'd built. My diary noting their fire, my pride. The Raleigh News and Observer ran a feature, Monroe Realty's Community Center redefines empowerment, my diary noting our work, their awe. Each success was a brick in the legacy I'd vowed to create after Nathan's betrayal, my diary noting his ruin, my rise. Nathan's plea came months later, a desperate call in the dead of night, his voice a broken shadow of the man who'd once mocked me, Isabella. I'm losing everything, my career, my freedom. Please help, my diary noting his despair, my pause. He'd been released on bail, his trial for fraud and embezzlement looming, his firm a memory, his reputation in tatters, my diary noting his fall, my clarity. I agreed to meet at a quiet coffee shop, its exposed brick walls and soft jazz a neutral ground, my diary noting his plea, my stage. He sat across from me, his suit wrinkled, his eyes hollow, a far cry from the arrogant lawyer who'd dismissed me at the open house, my diary noting his ruin, my calm. He poured out his regrets. I was wrong about you, about Lauren, about everything, my diary noting his remorse, my distance. He begged for help, a character reference, a word to the prosecutor, his voice cracking. I don't deserve it, but I'm drowning, my diary noting his desperation, my choice. For a moment, I was tempted to walk away, to let him sink in the consequences of his actions, my diary noting his pain, my right. The open house, with its mocking taunts, flashed in my mind. Nathan's "you got lucky," Lauren's sneer, my diary noting their scorn, my wound. But my therapist's words echoed, forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you, my diary noting her wisdom, my path. I saw Lauren's journey, her escape from Nathan's abuse, her enrollment in college, her quiet pride at her first job, and realized I didn't need revenge to be whole, my diary noting her freedom, my peace. I leaned forward, my voice steady. I'll give you resources, counseling, legal aid, but not for you, Nathan. For me, to let go, my diary noting his need, my release. I handed him a list of contacts, stood, and walked out, feeling lighter than I had in years, my diary noting his regret, my freedom. Lauren thrived, her new apartment a haven of bright curtains and budding plants, her diary noting her hope, our bond. We met weekly, sharing stories of survival, her pain mirroring mine, Nathan's manipulation, his ability to diminish us, my diary noting her scars, my healing. She earned her business degree, landing a job at a local startup, her diary noting her rise, our pride. I helped her furnish her apartment, choosing pieces that reflected her newfound strength, my diary noting her home, our victory. Our friendship, forged in shared pain, became a cornerstone, my diary noting her trust, my family. She spoke at the center's first workshop, her voice steady. Isabella showed me I'm enough, my diary noting her courage, my legacy. Monroe Realty grew, closing a $15 million estate and earning a national award for community impact, my diary noting our success, their loss. I launched a scholarship for aspiring female realtors, mentoring young women like Sarah, a single mother with a knack for sales, my diary noting her spark, my purpose. A keynote at a national real estate summit, Resilience over Revenge, drew a standing ovation, my diary noting my story, their inspiration. A young agent approached me. You gave me courage to leave my toxic job, my diary noting her dream, my fire. The center hosted its first gala, raising funds for domestic abuse survivors, my diary noting their future, our mission. Maria, now a volunteer, organized the event, her diary noting her strength, our hope. Nathan's trial ended with a guilty verdict, a 5-year sentence for fraud, his diary noting his chains, our justice. I didn't attend, choosing to lead a workshop instead, my diary noting his fate, my freedom. Lauren testified, her voice unwavering, my diary noting her truth, our triumph. The media frenzy faded, but the center's impact grew, with clients like Sarah closing their first deals, my diary noting their success, my legacy. I reflected on the open house, Nathan's taunts a distant memory, my diary noting his scorn, my strength. The divorce, once a wound that bled me dry, was now a scar, a reminder of my resilience, my diary noting his betrayal, my power. Raleigh's August dawn was radiant, the city's historic charm a canvas for my triumph, its oak-lined streets a testament to roots that held firm through storms. My diary, now a chronicle of victories, held a final note, his ruin, my peace. The center, with its bustling workshops and empowered women, was my monument, my diary noting their hope, my home. Lauren's laughter, Maria's gratitude, Sarah's ambition, they were my family, my diary noting their love, my strength. I stood at the center's window, the skyline sparkling, and knew I'd won not by destroying Nathan, but by building something he could never touch, my diary noting his end, my beginning. The pain of his betrayal, once a weight, was now a spark, my diary noting his lies, my truth. I vowed to keep building, to lift others as I'd lifted myself, my diary noting their dreams, my fire. Raleigh's August night was alive with possibility, my resolve a quiet fire, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a life of purpose and empowerment, a triumph that affirmed my worth as Isabella Monroe, not his victim, but a beacon for others to rise, a legacy that would endure beyond the shadows of the past. The center's opening had been a turning point, its impact rippling through Raleigh's community. Maria's speech, with its raw honesty, inspired donors, my diary noting her voice, our cause. Lauren's transformation, from a broken woman to a confident professional, was a mirror to my own, my diary noting her journey, our bond. The scholarship, now funding 10 women, was a promise kept, my diary noting their future, my pledge. The summit, with its thousands of attendees, was a platform for change, my diary noting my story, their hope. The gala, with its record-breaking funds, was a celebration of resilience, my diary noting their joy, our triumph. Nathan's plea, though a test, was a gift, freeing me from the last chains of anger, my diary noting his regret, my peace. Raleigh's August dawn, with its golden light and quiet promise, was a canvas for my legacy, my resolve a quiet fire, Nathan's betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a vow to lead with compassion, building a future where no woman would be broken by betrayal, a beacon for all to rise.